Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for October's mid-month mini mission inspiration, and as usual during October I like to do more than one prompt which is obviously appropriate for the month at hand, which is October, so spooky month, but also I like to do a secondary prompt for people who don't like to do Halloween. So this month we've got two prompts. So the prompt for the non-Halloween is Run Rabbit Run, and the prompt for the Halloween version is Scary Monsters. So what I thought I would do is try and combine both of them together. So do a scary rabbit monster. So I've been onto Pinterest this morning just to try and get a little bit of inspiration, and I found this really cute. Sorry, my printer's just decided to start up on its own. Oh, right, that's the image I was just talking about. So I've been onto Pinterest this morning and did a search for zombie rabbits, and I found this really cute image from somebody who calls themselves Kim by the looks of it, which is ideal for what I want as the basis. So I'm going to use this image as the base to create my tag for the month. So now that that's come off the printer, let me switch over to that desk over there and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've got my art tag journal there. That's the secondary card for the Halloween version of the Scary Monsters. Let me just see if I can move that light out of the way. It's getting on me. There you go. It's affecting my view. So this is the print off of the image that I found by Kim on Pinterest. Now I don't know whether this is a stamp or whether it's just something that she's drawn and then coloured in. I'm not even sure how old this is. You know, that's the thing with Pinterest, you just don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as kind of like the basis. So it's going to go onto this tag here. So let me just take that out of the journal. And because I'm doing two this month, what I'll do is I will hinge the secondary card onto the back. So there, that's already stuck on. So what I'll do is I'll actually stick that there as a hinge so that both of them are on the tag, but I won't add it onto the tag just yet because it's just going to get in the way. So I've printed the image off appropriate size for how I kind of want it to fit onto the tag, but obviously that's not going to work because I can't see through the card to trace that onto. So that's what I need to do. First of all, as you can see, I've got my little, what do they call this? My light box, a light tablet. I can't remember what they call it. But anyway, so I've got one of those. This was a lovely little birthday present earlier in the year from Ian, who very kindly surprised me with it because he knew I wanted something, or wanted one for a long time, as well as I also want one of those electronic drawing tablets, but they're a bit more expensive. So I might have to combine birthdays and Christmas and that kind of stuff before I can get one of those, or just buy my own. Right, so that's taped down onto the light box. So I've now got a sheet of tracing paper, which I'm going to put over the top, and then I'm going to take that down just so that it doesn't move. But I'm only going to do it on the top so that I can, if I need to, just lift up and have a look. But that should be enough. Right, I'm going to turn the box on. Right, so I can never remember how many turns it is to get it to full strength. So 1, so it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I say it's full strength. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a I'm not going to use a pencil. I'm going to use a ballpoint pen just to, first of all, just draw in the additional bits that I want. So make sure I get the right sort of size first of all. So about there to there is where I need to be, which is perfect for where we need for that. So looking at the ears, I want both ears to look the same. So I'm going to draw that ear in like so. I want something in the eyes, so because this is a zombie rabbit, I'm going to add in some crosses like so. Don't like the nose, so I'm going to add in a bit more of an appropriate rabbit nose, but also there's no teeth, so let's add in a couple of rabbit teeth, uneven sized. I also want to add in some feet, so let's just add a line across there just so we know where we're going, and then I'm going to come out like so and then add 3 toes, and then we can join that back up, and then I can do the same thing for this one. So bring that down, round toes, and then back in. I also don't want to add the heart on the chest there, I don't think. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add another kind of stitchy scar. Just like that. And these are the alterations I'm making directly onto the drawing. And then I think we'll add a nice kind of fluffy bunny tail as well. Okay, so do I have space to maybe just to show that it is a bunny? Let's see whether or not I can just add in like a carrot. There might not be space enough to get it in, but I can make adjustments. And then we'll just give that carrot, you know, some carroty kind of lines. It's a zombie rabbit after all, so there we go. So I think those are going to be the adjustments that I want to make. Okay, so what I can do now is just kind of give this a bit of a sketch. And I don't want it clear sort of lines like a stamped image. I want it to look sketchy and scrabbly. I think we'll go all the way around underneath, like so. And then we can draw in the eyes. I kind of like that kind of like stitchy effect on the eyes as well. So we'll have that. On the head, we'll have that kind of stitchy effect. Like so, and then we'll do the same thing for that eye. So it just make the eyes look a bit more sunken. And then we can draw in the bunny nose. think we'll do a bit more of a sad smile. And then we'll come down with the arms, and then we'll go straight into the feet. And then up, drawing that joint. Adding this stitch on the chest, bunny tail, and the carrot. Okay, so ears all the way up. And then on this side, I'm trying not to smudge it with my hand. There we go. I think those are the differences that I want. So I can now remove that stencil tape. And then I can get rid of my light box. So we no longer need that. So I'll just turn this off, have a tidy up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we're all tidied up a little bit. Let's just see if we can zoom in just a tad. There we go. And then I'll just make sure, there we go, we've got the right kind of focus and the right kind of lighting. So what I'm going to do is I've just laid the tag underneath the tracing paper. I'm just going to lay it down onto another piece of paper like that first of all. So I know it's going to fit. The carrot isn't going to work. And that's just purely for like positioning on there. It's not really going to work, is it? So I might end up putting it somewhere else. Or maybe just forgetting about it altogether. So what I want to do, take a piece of scrap paper, turn the drawing over. So I'm not going to get ink everywhere, and I now need a pencil. So this one will do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the back of the trace. Like so. We can pretty much just forget the carrot for the time being. Do. So I've now put a load of graphite onto the back of the tracing paper. So now when I bring my tag in and flip it over, I can position the rabbit pretty much where I want it to go. Now if I wanted to, I could just tape it down to stop it from moving. And then do the same thing with the tracing paper. And then using another pencil, I can now retrace over the top and transfer that image. And I'm doing it in pencil again, and also the drawing that's going down underneath this is graphite too. So if you do make a colossal mess up of it, it doesn't matter because it's pencil. And we can always rub it out and just change it. This is just to get that kind of basic outline shape. And positioning. Sounds like Mr. Bentley. Yeah, that's Sweetie Pie. Just come to see where I am. And then down with that one. Put in the bunny tail. We're not going to bother with the carrots. I've already smudged my hand in the ink, but that's okay. So like I said, this is only to transfer that basic image onto the tag. So if I now lift that up, I can pretty much see where I'm going. So I didn't go all the way around the circle on the eye there. Did I miss anywhere else? No, I don't think I did. So we can now dispense with the tracing paper. So I've now got my little zombie rabbit. So what I can do now is I can come back in with a pen and I can now start adding in that detail. So what I'll do is I'll try and work from the top upwards. And then I can just kind of start to finesse those lines a little bit. As I'm adding them down, I can just tidy them a little. It also means I can just turn this now round now because it's small enough to handle. And if you're interested in the pen that I'm using, I will explain that in a little while. I did use the pen in an art journal page the other day, so if you saw that one, it's the same pen. So this is a Signo Uniball. What's a Signo? It's a Uniball I, an ocean, and it says on it that it's made from 75% recycled plastic, but also 10% plastic which has been reclaimed from the oceans. So all that horrible plastic which has been floating around for years, they've now started to gather it all back in again. And this pen has got some of that in it. Let's have a look across there. So let's give it some of that kind of sunken. I didn't do the crosses, the stitching on the eyes, did I? Let's add those in now. And then the bunny nose. And then the sad bunny smile. There we go, it makes it look a little bit even more sadder look. So this is what I mean about finessing. And then just kick out the back of the heel there, because bunnies have got big feet. And then the bunny tail. And then we can add on a little stitchy scar just on the chest there, like that. There we go. So that's my little drawing. So what I need to do is just make sure that the ink is dry. So I'll give it a quick blast with the heat gun, and then I'll come back and then we'll be ready to add some colour over the top. So these are not water reactive, so you can add watercolours and that kind of stuff over the top of this and it won't move, unlike the Frankenstein-y kind of creature that I did for September's, which was that one. That ink did move, but that kind of, I liked the effect on that, but didn't want to do the same thing this month. Anyway, so let me just get this dry and then I'll be back. Okay, so for a change, I'm going to use alcohol markers. So what I've done is I've gone through the basket. So these were Mother's alcohol markers, which she doesn't or hasn't used for quite some time. So I thought, well, these would be ideal just to kind of use. So that's what I'm going to do. I haven't coloured in using pens for quite some time. So we're going to do a brown bunny. So I'm just going to put my base coat on. Of course, the beauty of alcohol pens is that it doesn't matter how many times you go over, it doesn't get darker with every pass. So you can pretty much just go over and over. You get a real kind of flat colour finish. It's only when you add darker shades that you get that darker shady effect. You can see how flat they are there. And that's the beauty of alcohol pens, which I don't use very often. But thought I would today. So it's fairly cartoony, so non-threatening, zombie rabbit. So before I get on to do the head, let's just do the smaller areas down here. His little bunny tail, bless. So I just have to be a little bit careful around the ink, because if it's not water reactive, it means it's solvent based. And as soon as I'm using a solvent based colouring system, it might affect it a little bit. But that's okay. We liked the effect that we got with Frankenstein, so that's funny. I've got the radio on downstairs and it's just started playing. It's classical radio I'm listening to, and it's just started playing Dance Macabre. Yeah, it must know. Camille Sanson. One of my favourite composers. Love the Carnival of the Animals, particularly the Swan. Which you've probably heard, if you've been watching my YouTube channel for a while, you've probably heard a version of the Swan as part of the background incidental music, sort of. Okay, so now let's move on to the head. So if any of you don't know the piece, Dance Macabre, but you do remember the TV kind of comedy detective series Jonathan Creek, that was the music that they used for the main theme. And if you don't know Jonathan Creek, you ought to. Let's go and check it out. Okay, so that's the first layer. So what we need to do now is we need to try and find a slightly darker colour that's going to help us with, I won't put that away just yet, with the shadow. So this might just be a little bit warmer. So we'll just bring the shadows down a little bit. I'm not going for photorealism, just, you know, just so you get the kind of gist of the shadow. So we'll start from his ear and we'll just kind of come all the way down just to about there. Don't worry if you think you've got a bit too much on, because we can sort that. Let's get some darker shadow around the eyes, just to give that impression that they are sunken a little bit. Just accentuate there, and maybe just a little bit under Bunny's nose. We also want it up there, definitely up there. So we'll do the same thing there, bring that down, and then around there like that, and then maybe just a little bit up there. Okay, so if you think it's gone a bit too striking, you can always go back with your other pen colour that you went in with first, and then that will blend a lot better. So just to add that tan colour back in, and then while it's still a little bit wet, and that will help to blend your shadows a little bit more. There is another way that you can do it, which I'll show you in a little while. But right, next thing that I want to do is I want to add a little bit of pinkness into those eyes. So I've got some sun-kissed pink here. But I just want to do a little bit of, just a little. And if you think the line there is just a little bit too strong, then there is a colourless blender that you can go in with just to kind of diffuse those edges. And it just helps to soften. If you go in with the colourless blender and then come back in with the pink, just like you did with the other two colours. It just helps to soften and diffuse. Okay, so let's give him a pink nose as well. Right, what I also want to do is just to, just drop that lid on the floor, is just to add a little bit of kind of green cast to it. So obviously he is a zombie, so I want to add a little bit of green to it, just to his, that's beige actually, that's not green, is it? I did get a green out, but I don't know what I've done with it. Let's jump back into what's this? Pastel green. There we go. Let's just add some green tones just underneath the eyes a little bit, just to kind of zombify him a little bit on the nose. You see how it's kind of wicking the colour away? I don't know whether it's picking that up. Love it. We'll also add, did I put the dusky pink away? I've got this nasty habit of just putting them straight back in the basket. That's sun-kissed pink. Was it dusky pink I used or the sun-kissed? I think it was actually the sun-kissed. But anyway, so what we'll do is we will just add a little bit of pink up there as well. And then I'll show you what you can do if you don't particularly enjoy doing the blending, what you can also do with greys. Right, so I'm happy with all those colours, I think. I'm happy with the fact it looks kind of sickly. I like that. So what you can do, grab a grey. It doesn't kind of matter what darkness you use, but if you want to add shadow in, just go in and create a line with your grey. So I'm using warm grey here. And then what you can do is you can also just add it just to give maybe just a little bit of shadow underfoot. And then I'm going to get a lighter grey. So this one is warm grey 1, that was warm grey 3. Just put a little bit down the teeth. And I think I'm really happy with that. I don't think I want to do anything else. So what I'm going to do now is put those greys away and I want to concentrate on the background. So because it's a Halloween page, let's grab some oranges. There's a few oranges there. What we've got amber, honeycomb and pumpkin, 3 different oranges. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in from the outside and I'm going to create just a kind of flicked border. That's what I really ought to do, get some paper. Oh. There we go. We'll come around the edge. And it doesn't take long. So we've got that, and then we can just grab a different shade. These scrabbly borders can take kind of any kind of effect that you want. And then let's add in some little doodle crosses. Just for additional interest in the background. Which is a particularly useful little technique if you haven't got a particular stencil, you know, you don't want to get your stencils out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add in some darker grey. So I'm going to come back in with, what's this one, an ice grey, and just intersperse with some doodle dots. Again, just background decoration with minimal effort and minimal thought, really. And then just to finish off, I'm going to grab the pen and I'm going to go around and just add in that kind of stitchy border, just to kind of finish it off. And then maybe just add in the odd cross stitchy effect there. There we go. I think I'm happy with my little zombie bunny. So let's add in, well, first of all, we need to add in the addition of that. So what am I going to attach it with? I put all my washi tapes away. I think I'll still get some washi tape. Oh. There we go. So we just need, that will do, I think, that one. So I'm doing it that way. So I'll add some washi tape just on there. That should hold it. There we go. So now we've got both the Scary Monsters and the Run Rabbit Run. Spooktober. And I can add that now to my art journal, my tag art journal for October. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create my art tag for October's mid-month mini mission inspiration. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.